Let's welcome in the panel this morning. We start with commentary editor for the Washington Times, Kelly Sadler, and Project 21 National Advisory Board member Christopher Arps. Great to have you both on. I was covering this on Saturday. We were getting ready to broadcast the first Trump rally of 2022, and we were watching the situation unfold down in Colleyville, Texas, a hostage situation, 3 parishioners and a rabbi held hostage at the Beth Israel Synagogue in Texas. And Chris, I'd like to start with you first. The FBI yesterday saying that this hostage takeover was not focused on the Jewish community. The fact that this guy chose to do this at a synagogue was just random. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, this is Merrick Garland's Justice Department in Joe Biden's brand new America. Did you think that was deliberate? Because I'll tell you what, if I'm going to take people hostage and make demands to get my alleged sister out of jail or something like that, and I go to a Catholic church or I go to a mosque or I go to a synagogue, I'm not choosing one randomly. I'm going somewhere deliberately. What'd you make of that from the FBI? And then they backtracked and said, well, maybe it was targeted.
Rob, I think it was definitely deliberate. If you remember, ever since January 6th, the left and the progressives have been trying to tell Americans that the greatest threat to America is domestic right-wing terrorism. And this hostage situation that happened down in Texas over the weekend put a big prick to that bubble. So, yes, we still have to worry about international terrorists. Our borders are wide open. The greatest threat facing America is not right-wing terrorism. It's, as we saw this weekend, it's radical Islamic terrorism.
Kelly, Joe Biden was in Delaware as this was all happening. We heard from Jen Psaki. We eventually heard from the president. But this is one of those situations where you don't know how it's going to go. You're hoping for the best outcome. You're praying for the best outcome, but you don't know how it's going to go. It's another great opportunity for a president to do what they're supposed to do, and that's lead and comfort. And he was nowhere to be found. Yet again, he was in Delaware.
Yeah, no, I mean, and this goes against the left's narrative, as Chris was just saying. They spent the last 2 weeks talking about January 6th and right-wing extremism and how that is the predominant threat to America today. And we know, I mean, look at all of the refugees that came in from Afghanistan that have not been vetted. We still know that Islamic terrorism is something that's real and is now resurging in the Middle East because of our withdrawal from Afghanistan. Yeah, this is something they don't want to really focus on. And I bet you the narrative with the media will maybe pick up a few details on this guy was a British citizen. How did he come into the U.S.? Oh, yeah. He wasn't on the no-fly list, but this won't be a story next week.
You know, this will be Darrell Brooks, Waukesha, Wisconsin. You know, they're not going to talk about it probably after yesterday, but this is the Boston Globe, which has become an activist newspaper. It's a left-leaning rag now, once a very respected newspaper. This is their headline this morning. Hostage takeover was not focused on Jewish community, FBI says. 4 Jews were taken hostage in a synagogue. Obviously, it was focused on the Jewish community. What other community was it focused on?
Yeah, on Shabbat, Rob, right?
Exactly, on a very holy day.
So, and this guy was fighting for the freeing of, an Al-Qaeda terrorist.
Yeah.
So, I mean, come on, common sense. This DOJ wants to go after parents at school board meetings, labeling them out as potential domestic terrorists in a DOJ document, but are too scared to name this as what it is. And that is just shameful, and the FBI should be ashamed.
And you make a good point on Shabbat, one of the most holy days in the Jewish calendar. Of course, it was deliberate. That's a lie. They're trying to whitewash it. That's a total lie. So we were getting ready here at Newsmax for Donald Trump's big rally. As we were covering this, and we had to sort of make a decision. If the president, if Joe Biden, if he steps in and makes comments, which he didn't, eventually he did, but we kept hearing from Jen Psaki, and I was like, where is the president? This is an opportunity to be presidential and to comfort the afflicted. So we were getting ready for this rally. It was in Florence, Arizona. Donald Trump has been very quiet in 2022 so far, Kelly, building up to this rally. He held it in Arizona, and I want to get both your take on this. Why do you think he did it? Why do you think he chose Arizona for his first rally? It's a state, it's got 11 electoral votes. It's a state that he evidently lost by fewer than 11,000 votes in 2020. He won it in 2016. But why Arizona?
Because it's a swing state. The narrative is it's turning bluer and bluer, and he did lose it in 2020, just by a slim margin. So he needs to gin up his base and his supporters in these swing states. You'll probably see him go to Wisconsin. You'll see him go to Michigan. You'll see him go to Georgia.
Yeah.
All of these, Pennsylvania, all of these states are pivotal with the Electoral College and winning them. And that's the path right back to the White House. And I think we saw very clearly on Saturday, he's staging a comeback. And so he's looking at 2024 and the path forward.
Let's take a listen to what the president had to say. He went after Joe Biden and everything that he should go after Joe Biden for: inflation, the border, Afghanistan, so on and so forth. Take a listen.
Few could have imagined that he would be such a disaster for this country, what they've done. Inflation is the worst it's been in 40 years. Gas prices are up 50%. The grocery shelves, the department store shelves, they're empty. You had an excuse not to buy Christmas gifts. You say to your loved one, darling, I'm sorry, I love you very much, but I just can't. There's no merchandise in Tiffany. I wanted to buy the most beautiful ring, but they don't have any rings anymore. Nobody has anything.
Chris, I don't know who's getting their wife something from Tiffany's for Christmas. Every time I go in there,
Donald Trump.
Yeah, I'm like, well, maybe next time. Every time I pass by a Tiffany's, but that's Donald Trump for you. By the way, thousands of people were turned away that weren't able to get into this rally. This is a former president. Donald Trump hasn't been in office for almost a month to the day. Thursday will mark 1 year of Joe Biden in office officially. But what do you make of that? The fact that a former president, Chris, can draw this kind of crowd?
Yeah, and I think part of the reason that he picked Arizona was, one, if you remember, that was the first salvo in in his battle to say that the election was stolen from him. I think you also have to factor in that Senator Mark Kelly is up for re-election next year.
Right.
And also, Arizona has a sizable Hispanic population. Mm-hmm. And as we've seen through polls and what we saw down in Texas with those counties that are near Mexico, the president has been receiving a great deal of Hispanic support. And I think the final reason that he had the rally there in Arizona is because it's warm. You can have an outdoor rally, and you don't have to worry about COVID.
Good point, but it was freezing cold. John Bachman and Sarah Williamson were out there live on the ground. I think the Arizona desert, I used to live in the Southwest. You think it's going to be, 80, 90 degrees. It was really windy and really cold. But, yeah, good point. And, again, Trump, apparently lost Arizona. It was like 10,500 votes, right around that number in 2020. And I still think that he is upset about that, and he expressed as much on Saturday night. Panel will pick this back up in just a couple of minutes, so stand by.